See, there's a lot of students here. I know there are many students, policymakers, and this is a topic that everybody is talking of today, right? The goal here, my objective is not to actually showcase what I know about AI, but it is some things that you guys should all know about AI so that we can do the right things, right, for the betterment of humanity. So this topic about hype, hope, and the future of intelligence is something that I want to get started with by asking the first word that comes to you when we talk about AI, right? If I ask the audience, I see a lot of students there. What is that first word that comes to you when you talk about AI? Do you feel it is innovation? Is it? Do you feel it's cool? Do you feel it is scary? What is it that is coming to your mind when you talk about AI? Quick, anybody wants to say what comes to your mind when you talk about AI? The first thing that you think about AI, what is it that comes to your mind? Okay, what else? Anything else that comes to your mind? So the perspective I'm bringing is from my experience and learning, working with a lot of startup founders, and also investing in 50 plus AI software startups today, right? It's all Indian founders that we work with, and investing in 50 plus AI startups, whatever the learning is. We also do something called a US immersion program, where we take our startups to the valleys, San Francisco, which is the AI capital today, right? And they get to meet with the AI tech leaders, and they get to meet with AI engineers at Meta, Facebook, OpenAI, and all that. One of the good things that we notice is that the diffusion of this technology, right, between US and India is actually very high. And as you all know, right, whatever is being done in the US other than in the infrastructure space, which is the large language models, from an application space, all of you guys are pretty much clued in, just like how people are working in the US, right? So that's the good thing. And from this experience, I have insights into where actually AI is working today, where AI is struggling, and where we are headed to. So I thought it will be good for me to share this with you guys as we try to build responsible AI in the future. So what we will explore today is the misconceptions around AI and overpromises around AI, the real-world applications that actually is happening today, and how AI is being used in not just in personal chats with AI chatbots, but actually in businesses, how it is being used, right? Is something that we look at in future of intelligence, where it is going, why we need to build this in an ethical way, why we need to do this in a collaborative manner, and then I let you guys figure out whether AI is real or not. So let's start with talking about what is AI. When machines and systems try to mimic human intelligence, that is AI, right? But there are certain characteristics. What happens is with AI, the system is actually collecting data and analyzing the data on a continuous basis. The second thing is, it is actually iteratively improving as this data is collected and you're learning from that data. And there is key technologies associated with AI, right? So because people are associating only AI with maybe the chatbots, but that's not true. AI has been around from the 1960s. And if you look at the key technologies, one is the ability to be able to learn from the data. That is that machine learning that you always hear about. And then there is automating all these physical tasks, being able to work in the physical space. That is the robotics part of AI. Understanding and generating language, which is the natural language processing part of the AI, and understanding and processing images and videos, the computer vision part of AI, right? And as you know, today you are already using a lot of things, which is AI-related things in your life. If you're using Netflix, if you're using Google Maps, if you're using Alexa or Google Home, any of these things, you're actually getting personalized recommendations. You, from Netflix, you're getting, you're looking at Google Maps every day, and you're getting recommendation on routes. All those things are because of AI technologies that's happening, right? So AI is not only about the chat GPT, what you're hearing, but actually AI is about mimicking that human intelligence by machines and systems. Today, if you look at the spotlight, everybody is talking about generative AI. So what is actually generative AI? Generative AI is the ability to generate new content. So what you're finding is when that music played, that clip played, that is actually music content, that lyrics never existed on the internet. It's a combination of multiple things that it took from the internet and put together as that lyrics. So the spotlight today is the excitement, everything is being created in generative AI, where you are able to generate new content like text, images, video, and other things. And there's a whole suite of products that are doing it today. And just for the benefit of the students, I'm sure they should be knowing this, is that this happened, right? What this excitement came about 2 years back when ChatGPT came out. OpenAI introduced ChatGPT, and this was from the transformer architecture of the large language models, which actually enabled this to happen, right? So it started off with predicting the next word, but ultimately what happened? It actually became not just predicting the next word, but it started supporting all multimodal stuff, text to video, text to images, and so on, right? Even to text to 3D now. So if you look at all these applications that you talked about, let's understand what, we differentiate between the hype and the reality. Most of you might have heard about Gartner, which is the global research firm, and they actually talk about, they're very well known for Magic Quadrant. I think you might have all heard about the Magic Quadrant, right? But they also have something called the hype cycle curve. And this is now becoming very popular. All key technologies, any technology, new technology, is actually goes through this hype cycle curve. So if you look at the hype cycle curve, the interesting thing to note is things like Gen AI, large language models, they are all part of something called the peak of inflated expectations. So everybody has a lot of expectations that this thing's supposed to work like this. It is going to, there are a lot of misconceptions which we'll talk about, but it is in that peak of inflated expectations, right? As things start maturing, we will start realizing what capabilities out of this works and what does not work. Then we go into that curve where it actually starts becoming adoption, central adoption, and starts becoming use cases for businesses, right? So there are today, if you ask, I was actually talking to my niece yesterday, young folks, what do they think about all these things, right? Some of them say, hey, I'm really worried about whether I'm going to lose my job, whether AI is going to replace all the jobs today, right? And it's not an unfair concern that you should have. It is a fair concern, and there's a lot of things that we should do to make sure that these things don't happen, right? But if you look at today, it is because of that inflated expectations. Tomorrow, we will know, and that is how we do it, right? We will know what is possible, what is not possible. So today, you don't have to worry about AI replacing all jobs. There is not going to be an AI God machine that is going to say, hey, you know what? All of you get universal basic income, and we will sit here and make sure that everything is being done, right? That's not going to happen. But at the same time, you have to know, and this is very important for you students, is that you need to know that, and somebody who is going to use AI will replace your job if you're not going to use AI, right? So as aspiring entrepreneurs, as aspiring, as actually our citizens, responsible citizens, you have to know how to manage these two. And you will see, you will hear AI-powered everything, right? So that's all marketing-related terms. So you will hear AI-powered vacuum cleaners. I was actually seeing something called a jujutsu robo for teaching you how to fight. It's an AI-powered thing. So you'll hear all these buzzwords that's there. Uh, AGI is artificial general intelligence. ASI is artificial super intelligence, right? Or being able to have this kind of an AI God machine. So the innovators will always look at that. Innovators will want to do that. Innovators will want to come up with those kind of systems. But reality is that it'll go through this hype cycle curve, and we will know what out of this works, what is not going to work, and things will depend upon a lot of regulations and ethical considerations. Uh, the reality is AI is powerful but narrowly focused today. And these LLM models are actually showing, the large language models are actually showing a lot of potential. And therefore, we have to be cognizant about that. So these are all the tools. I'm not going to, in the interest of time, I'm going to skip that. Experience the magic of generative AI. We'll come to that. So you have already heard this, but I just want to let you know that AI, if you have been using it today, there's something called an advanced voice system mode where you can actually have the voice capabilities, right? If I had the time, I would have loved to show you guys a demonstration of that audio where actually you can talk to ChatGPT, and you will see that it talks back to you in a seamless manner. It can tell you, it can talk to you in Tamil, it can talk to you in English, it can talk to you in any multiple languages, right? So it's important that we know what are the capabilities of this. Similarly, it can actually generate an image. If I type in the prompt saying that, show me how is New Indian Express going to cover this Think Edu event, show me an image of that. Within 30 seconds, I'll get that image. Not that that image is going to be perfect, because we are at the very early stages. That's that peak of inflated expectations. But in the future, you're going to see that is going to get better and better and better, right? As architectures improve and as the innovators start, solving more and more problems through compute, through putting in more compute. This is a program that is generated, and you can actually generate this. If I had the time, I would have shown you that. Within 5 seconds, I can write saying that, generate a program for tic-tac-toe game, right? It immediately generates this program, and you can actually take this into a code interpreter, and it will actually work. Right there, you can see the game working, right? So this is the potential of some of the capabilities that is coming up in generative AI. So generative AI, is it perfect? No, it is not perfect. There are a lot of issues related to this, and that is what makes this complex, and that is what makes it very important for all of us to know, how to use it in the right way and how to build it in the right way. So if you look at generative AI, this hallucination is still a problem. I'm sure everybody has heard now about hallucination. It's a very common thing. But it gets every time you ask a question to the large language model, it is not going to come back with the same consistent answer, right? Factually, it can be incorrect because it is not going back and verifying whether it is the truth. It can be misleading, because you are giving some information based on the trained data. It can be fabricated, and there is a lot of reflection from the bias. So today, if you look at the output, it can be whether it is race, whether it is religion, whether it is gender. There can be a lot of biases in the system, and that can actually create stereotypes. And it can also be, the output can also be very offensive. And if you know how these large language models work, they work on trained data. So if you have a data set, and depending upon the quality of that data set, the output of a AI machine or an AI system, in the generative AI case, can be, the dependence is on the data. So the quality can be poor if the data set that is trained is not very good, right? Now, because of this, there are so many safety concerns. I've just listed some here, but that number of safety concerns is only increasing. And therefore, as policymakers, as students, you have to know what kind of change you can make in this field, right? So you will start seeing that there is a lot of impersonation happening. You will start seeing that there is a lot of frauds that can happen. There is deep fakes. As the system becomes better and better, you start realizing that you can't make out whether this is AI-generated video or if this is real video, right? So these are all real concerns for us. There can be discriminations. So if, let's say, for example, if you're hiring, if somebody is hiring based on an AI system, there can be discrimination, and it's all based on the bias that is there in that system, the data and how it is programmed. Similarly, for law enforcement. Today, we are finding that cybercrime is a huge problem because of this, right? There is a problem even in terms of trading. The AI systems are able to generate fake loads on sell volumes or buy volumes and make it look like the stocks are doing well, right? So this is something that we really need to take it serious, because there are going to be a lot of these issues that we will face over time. And we have to make sure that all of us somehow work on this in a very responsible manner. And I just want to also share, this is very important because I want to share where we are headed to, right? And this is what I'm sharing here is not what is in the hype cycle where we think it may happen 10 years or 15 years from now, but it's actually happening today. So this year, you will start seeing a lot of AI called agentic AI, okay, where it is going to be agents. I want to give an example of a digital workforce or an AI agent that I'm seeing happening. Let us say you are into a real estate business, right? And you're introducing a new product. And if that product has to be tested out, let's say you want to test it out on TikTok and see what is the response of your potential customers, and then you want to actually take that whichever one you tested, which works better, you want to put it as an advertisement in Facebook, for example, right? An agent is today able to do that. You'll start soon seeing that the agent goes through that entire multi-step process of being able to take, okay, all the way saying, okay, I'll create these ads, I will create 3 or 4 videos, I'll take those videos, put it on TikTok or some other social media channel, see what is the response, and then take whichever is the best, put it on Facebook, pay for the advertisement there, and then, say, okay, this is working, give a report back to the person who's working. Yes, it's a human-AI collaboration, but please note that the power of what it can do is only improving, right? Because that multi-step collaboration can be done by the AI agents. Predictive analytics is something that you already see now. You can see that if you are using Blinkit or if you are using Instamart, any of these things, you see that they're able to come and deliver groceries in 10 minutes these days, right? At least it happens in Bangalore, where you can actually get your groceries in 10 minutes. And optimizing these decisions are all done through AI. Digital twins, this is something that you hear from NVIDIA. Every session that Jensen Huang is talking about, he talks about digital twins. Virtual Singapore is the best example of a digital twin that you can go and check out today on YouTube, right? What have they done? They have actually simulated the entire Singapore country as a digital twin, where you can actually wear your virtual glasses and do capacity planning, disaster planning, and everything, right? So what the idea of a digital twin is that if you have a manufacturing floor, you can actually reproduce that manufacturing floor on a simulated environment. Same way, you can actually start doing urban planning using that. And there's a lot of power to that, and it is going to be very useful for us. Similarly, if you look at accessibility and inclusion, voice assistants are coming up, which can actually enable the hearing impaired similarly for blind people and a lot of physically disabled people. So what is happening today is that AI is, the vision of AI is that it can actually better the humanity in many ways. Robotics, for example. Previously, robotics you will see in warehouses, you will see in automobile manufacturing flows. But if you have seen what people are doing with the robotics companies, they've started introducing robots that can actually go into radioactive areas where humans cannot go, right? They can go into deep mines where it is very hazardous, and all these things can be done with robots that cannot be done by humans. And the human AI collaboration works very well. So I think this is interesting to know that these are the current trends that we are headed to, and these are all happening. Whatever I talked about is actually happening today, and the next decade is going to be agentic AI. I just want to also say that if you're following anything about with Salesforce, etc., there is something called an agent force, right? So if you hear their CEO talk about it, what they're talking about is in this year, they're going to be able to generate about 1 billion, they will generate about 1 billion agents that will do different things, right? Be it a voice agent or a support agent, any of those kind of things. But let me talk about the future of intelligence, in the interest of time. And we will start, this is the goal, right? This is the long-term goal. This, we do not know whether it will even happen with the architecture that we have today, right? Because the large language models can do certain things, but the architecture may not be able to support an AGI. And artificial general intelligence is where the systems can reason across disciplines. Imagine what the goal is, to be able to have a system that can actually diagnose diseases, and not just diagnose it, but can suggest treatment plans. And when they suggest the treatment plan, it is suggesting the treatment plan in consultation with a climate expert, so that the environmental damages that can be created by this treatment plan is also factored in. That is AGI, right? Artificial general intelligence. People talk about artificial general intelligence also will be made available in this decade, okay? It may not be a God machine, it may not replace all jobs, etc. But the fact is that systems will become smarter and smarter, and human will have a lot more bandwidth for creativity and larger value problems. New frontiers, if you have been hearing about quantum computing that's happening, quantum AI, space exploration, bioengineering, all these things are large problems, right? That can be solved using AI. So the hope is, if you've seen the AlphaFold project by Google, so there's so many things, so many interesting things that are happening at a larger level. But the more important thing is, unless you have fairness and trust and global cooperation, these things can fail, right? So someone earlier speaker was talking about how India can take the lead on that, and I really wish that the policymakers and the students here, everyone start working together to voice their opinion and make that happen, right? There was one case, if you guys remember, about the clearwork.ai, where they were doing, without permission of the users, they were collecting the personal information and actually creating some kind of a system where everybody could be tracked. Everybody could be tracked, right? And that actually had a backlash. And when that backlash happened, they're still doing it, but they're still doing it only for the purpose of security, national security in the US. But that is something that is happening today, right? Now, what is happening today is that you have the social media channels to be able to make that influence happen. So people started, there was a severe backlash on that, right? People started voicing their concerns on that and ensured that that project did not move forward. Similarly, when we have to be aware of what is happening, and that's what I mean by you have to reflect in your field, how is AI going to impact? You have to explore and make sure that you understand how to use these tools in a very productive manner, because if you don't know, somebody is going to replace you. That's for sure, right? And then make sure that you engage. So this engagement is the most important thing, right? As students, you will be able to engage through making that voice heard, through whether it is social media channels, through your universities, whatever it is, but making sure that your voice is heard to ensure that AI is used in the right way and not for the detriment of humanity. And, uh, and finally, my thought is that the best way to predict that future is to create it. This is what Peter Drucker best said. And what will happen is, because there's a lot of butterfly effect and everything, right? When you keep doing something, something else changes, so you can't predict what the world is going to be 10 years from now. But the best way to predict that for ourselves is to create it. So as we work to reduce the concerns, whether it is the safety concerns, whether it is the bias concerns, whether it's the misuse, all of those things, when we work together, then I'm an optimist. I believe that we will create this AI world, okay? That will be a very, very, very good collaboration between human and AI should remain a tool in the hand of humans just to make sure that the productivity is actually, reflects into economic progress, and economic progress reflects throughout the world, globally, and not just local to a US or a China, which is actually ahead in many ways. Thank you.